Have you ever experienced something strange that made you question reality? Maybe a bizarre coincidence, an impossible prediction that came true, or even a glimpse into a parallel world. On this podcast, I'm going to be diving deep into these stories of the inexplicable and unexplained tales that many refer to as a glitch in the matrix. On each episode, I will be bringing you first-hand accounts of these real-life glitches where people have seen, heard, or even felt something that seemed to defy the laws of our universe. Now, are these stories real? That's for you to decide here on Glitches in the Matrix. My first glitch was not as fun as I thought it would be. By Reddit user non-applicable MC. So this happened to me this morning as I was getting ready to go to work. I went through my normal routine. I got dressed, brushed my hair, packed my bags, and said goodbye to my significant other. I then picked up my bag and took my keys off the hook and walked out the door. I vividly remember taking the keys off the hook, and I always put the keys on the hook as soon as I get home. Usually, I hold my keys in my hand to exit the building because I need them for my car, obviously. So I shut the door, and it's one of those doors that locks when you shut it, so I don't ever use my key. I walked not 5 paces through the hall and realized I wasn't holding my keys. I checked my pockets, and I didn't have any pockets. I checked my bag. They weren't in there. I checked my coat. They weren't in there. I checked the floor, nothing. Not even 10 seconds had passed. I know I picked up my keys and now they're gone. So I knocked loudly on the door to wake up my significant other to let me back in. My keys weren't on the hook. I checked my bag, my coat, and myself again, and this is when I began to panic. I had searched every room that I'd been in that morning, knowing it was impossible because the keys were the last thing I picked up before I walked out the door. I thought I was losing my mind. I picked up my keys, I walked out the door. Where the hell could they have gone? How did they disappear in 5 seconds? I had a full-blown panic attack on the floor because I thought I'd lost my mind, and I was going to be late for work. There was nowhere else they could possibly be other than on the hook, in my hand, in my bag, or in my coat, and they were nowhere. So I had my significant other check the entire house for me, and then he found them inside of his office. They were in the middle of the floor inside of his room. Now, I had no reason to ever go into this room in the morning. None of my stuff is in there. So I picked the keys off the hook, and in the 5 seconds it took me to exit the door and walk a few steps, my keys have somehow traveled along the inside of the hallway, rounded a corner, and landed inside of his office. Sure, there's a possibility that I kicked them in a panic, but how the hell wouldn't I have heard them? They're very loud and distinctive. How would I have dropped them in the first place? I literally just picked them up, walked out the door, and they were gone. How did they round an entire corner without me hearing them? Well, I'm glad I was able to make it to work eventually, but it wasn't fun. The feeling that your perception doesn't match reality is truly terrifying. Can I get a more comical glitch next time? Called out a cashier for knowing my name. We both said, "Must be a glitch in the Matrix," by Reddit user Felbon. I went to Ace Hardware yesterday for a single item that I couldn't find anywhere else. Now, I go to this specific Ace Hardware about twice a year, so I really don't know anyone there by name or face. As I set down my item at the register, the cashier says my name. And I'm so used to wearing a name tag at work, I just say, "Yep." She asks for my phone number, and I provide it to her so she can type it into the system. She confirms my name as it pops up on the screen, and I'll add that my name is fairly uncommon. At this point, I realized that she had said my name twice, but There's no way she could have known it before pulling up my account, so I called her out on it. I said, I swear you said my name before I gave you my number. And then we made eye contact for a second, and at the exact same time, in complete synchronicity, we both said, must be a glitch in the matrix or something. I stood there wide-eyed, slightly stunned. She seemed completely unaffected. She broke eye contact and said my total. I nervously laughed as I finished my transaction and left. My brain went places trying to explain what happened. Facial recognition? No, I'm in an Ace Hardware. That's not it. Maybe she knew me. I've definitely never seen this woman before. Am I on some kind of weird list? Is she an all-seeing, all-knowing demigorgon? Maybe. Glitch in the Matrix? Probably not, but I thought it'd be fun to share. If you've had something strange happen to you, we'd like to hear about it. You can visit our website at paranormalitymag.com. That's paranormalitymag.com and share your story with us. Once again, that's paranormalitymag.com. The World Blacked Out by Any Honeydew? I was out on a drive one night with a friend a few months ago, and I was in the passenger seat. We were on a rural road outside of town, and we meet an oncoming car. As it passed us, everything went black and silent, like the world had completely turned off. It only lasted a second, but it felt so much longer. I couldn't hear the music. I couldn't feel the bumps on the road. I couldn't even feel the seat I was sitting in. I was just enveloped in warm black silence, like it was a floating void. When everything came back on, I said out loud, "What the heck?" And my friend who was driving said, "You felt that too?" So I asked my friend to describe what they felt, and everything was exactly the same. It was so cool. And by the way, the car that was passing us just so happened to be a second-generation Toyota Matrix. Thank you for listening to Glitches in the Matrix, presented by Paranormality Magazine, your number one source for anything strange and unusual. Visit our website at paranormalitymag.com. And until next time, the world isn't always what it seems.